Hey, what's up, everyone? So, you are watching or listening to my comic book journey podcast, episode 10. And this one deals with My the Psychic Girl issue 4, story by Kudo Kazuya, Ikegami, art by Ikegami Ryoichi, and published by VIZ Media or VIZ Comics. So, this one was written back in 1985, 1986, and was published in the West around 1989 or so. Well, every few years, because it came out from Eclipse Comics first, for those who remember Eclipse, and Viz Media. And this one is a collaboration of both, so both companies working together to get this one out. You should be able to find it hopefully on eBay, but there are only 4 volumes for this one, but they've released it again in 3 volumes, where you can have 2 issues, 2 mangas each, or 2 volumes with 3 manga each, like an omnibus type of format. But anyway, let's get to the storyline. So, My the Psychic Girl, Volume 4 is all action, and this sets up the battle between Mai and Termgarten, and this one was really interesting. And then you had the final issues with Wisdom Alliance trying to get all the people learning psychokinesis to fight against Mai, setting up a battle there. So it's very interesting concept, but and also very exciting. I've said how much I love this issue, or this series, but the problem is it was ahead of its time. It only came out with 4 tankobons, so 4 volumes. That's it. And when you try to, I the first thing that came to my mind after reading this was that it ends too quickly. They had a set idea of how many issues they were going to make, or how many chapters they were going to make. They kept to that, and it just ends. And this is something that, when it comes to Japanese anime or even manga, when they try to condense a big storyline into an animated film, and there's only so much you can do with an hour and a half or 2 hours. And the same thing can be said with manga, is that you have an intense tale, but you are only limited to so many chapters. I'm not sure if this was the choice of Kudo or Ikegami, or that's all they had, to give. But there should have been more. I think to flesh things out, they probably could have gotten or added several more chapters or volumes. If you're going to go by volumes, then they could have probably added it towards a total of 6 or 8. Because the way they constructed this final volume, it was good, but at the same time, you felt, with how strong the previous volumes were, you felt that there should have been more. It just ends. You know how when you watched certain animated films, say Akira, you had that long story, or even let's do Dragon Ball Z. Of course, when you see, or even Bleach, when you see action storylines, they drag it for so many seasons. I guess you could say for most Shogakukan related or Shonen Jump titles such as Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, they drag it, and you get a lot of filler episodes, and they just drag it. This one, I could see them doing, if this was animated back in the 80s or 90s, I could see them dragging it out. But this one was never made to, I don't think it received any other adaptation. And I know that they were planning to do a live action film, and whether or not Tim Burton, and Sparks decide to do it, who knows? But unfortunately, this is such a good storyline that deserves more treatment. And you know how Gundam, they had the films, animated films, they had the manga too, and they did everything all over with Gundam the Origin to fix things. I feel that My the Psychic Girl is a title that deserves a second chance to do something even better, something bigger, because this is such a wonderful storyline. Manga has wonderful art, and there's no doubt that this is one of the few manga series that people were probably exposed to manga back then, because Eclipse was one of the first to take those chapters. I know Viz Media did it as well, and there were a few other ones. I think there was Dark Horse. Was it Dark Horse? Not sure, but I know Eclipse series. But there was a few that brought manga out to the West. They translated it, and they sold them as per chapter, so it was a little more expensive back then. But yeah, when I was reading this, I was just saying, wow, such a wonderful story, and it just deserves so much more. And who knows what will happen. But yeah, My the Psychic Girl, the battle between Mai and Termgarten was really interesting, because Mai is a person who does not want to use her powers. Her father told her not to use it because there could be consequences. She's conscious of that. But the problem is Termgarten is such a psychopath. She kills everything. If she senses someone even looking at her or doing something, she'll just kill them, blow their head off. And she's tried to let Mai know, you join us, or I'm going to continue to kill everyone near you or close to you or whoever's protecting you. And that's how bad things are. Is just seeing how long or how much can Termgarten push her before she does something. And not just Termgarten. You got all the other ones as well, who eventually are ordered to kill Mai. And so it's pretty much an interesting storyline about being targeted and holding back on your power. But it's an interesting concept, no doubt. And in a way, it's just again, I just feel that it ended so quickly, so abruptly. You don't know what happens to the other characters. You don't know. It's just, Volume 4 does give you some closure, but at the same time, it could have been much better if it had a longer run. So this is just one of the few examples, because usually manga, Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, you name it, they have long running, even One Piece, they have long running schedules. It would have been great that if this one got something longer, because there's so many reasons to justify and how popular and how cool this manga really is. But again, mid 80s, no one knew. I think it was just ahead of its time back then. And I do hope that maybe Shogakukan or someone will decide, you know what, we have My the Psychic Girl, let's do something with it for today's modern audiences. It could definitely happen. I hope so. I really do hope so, because this one's so good. I just don't want it to be some type of, I don't want it to be remembered as a series that had a lot of potential but could have been better, or could have something done much better for it. I know Sparks were trying their hardest. I was watching their documentary, and they really tried to get this off the ground. Maybe a musical or some sort of film or something. They tried. And Tim Burton, he says he was interested, but I mean, I don't know if the rights expired, if they still have it, but I do hope that something's done with My the Psychic Girl. Netflix. Maybe consider it as your next anime project. Who knows? But yeah, My the Psychic Girl. Definitely a great series, but ended way too quickly. That should have been extended a little bit more longer to flesh out certain storylines, especially with character development. But overall, I give it a thumbs up. Okay, everyone, you all take care, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.